Alright, so here is yet another tractor build. So a couple days ago, I sold my Sears GT16 that had the loader on it. Which means now I don't have a GT16. So the pile of parts you're seeing right here is the stuff I'm actually going to use to actually build one. So I've got floorboards that are the correct ones with the holes in them. An SS16 rear frame, because that's the kind of like the worst one I have, and this ain't gonna be a perfect looking tractor. I'm just gonna throw a bunch of parts and just kind of build one. So SS16 rear frame, random seat spring, silver fenders off of something else that I did, some crummy side frames also off of an SS16, so those will work perfect for this one. A front frame off of the that 68 Hydro that got the Briggs front frame put on it. So my first thing here is I'm actually gonna go and wire wheel all these down to bare metal, all this stuff, and then kind of just make sure I got everything here, and then I'm gonna end up painting everything silver and black automotive paint. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to get this stuff wire wheeled, ready for paint, and come back. Okay, so I got everything down to bare metal, and then I got everything painted. So of course I'm building it on the forklift again. That's basically what I use as a table, so I don't have to bend way down and work on it. So I got the frame here, and all the front frame, the axle, and the side pieces. And then back here I have the rest of the parts. So the fenders, this tractor ain't trying to be any kind of anything perfect or anything. So these fenders have a little bit of holes. It's got a hole on each side. They were bent pretty bad, but I was able to get them de-bent, and there's still a little dent right here, but it's kind of whatever. But I really like how they look. It's got a ton of clear coat on here. It's very, very smooth. Of course, this is automotive paint like I always do. Front nose cone. This is one of them homemade hoods that I made a few months or so ago, but this came out really nice too. Hitch plates down there. It's getting a brand new dash. The lower grill and the floorboards, all that stuff is back here. Since all the silver stuff comes way later, I decided just to leave that back there for now. And then, yeah, I'm going to get this frame, the rear and the front frame. I guess it's windy. I'm going to get the front and rear frame put together, and then come back once as I get that done. Okay, so I got the whole frame put together. I set my forklift forks down, rolled it off, and then I hang it from the seat spring. And next thing for me to do is to put the transmission in. And this transmission had 3 out of the 4 bolts busted off. It was a little hard to do because this hub did not want to come off. So this one still has a little stud sticking out. That's busted off, but I guess that's kind of whatever. It'll be just fine with that in there because this pulls either forward and back, and with that stud hanging out, it's fine. And there's a smaller bolt, but still good enough, right there in crooked because of that hub didn't come off. And then this side I was able to get both bolts in perfectly fine because this hub came off. But yeah, you definitely want to do, and I say this in every video, but in case you haven't saw any of my other videos, if you take the transmission out, one thing I highly recommend doing is putting the high-low range lever in, and then putting the transmission in, and also put these bolts in for the fenders. They're a little bit easier. So I'm going to get this transmission in and probably the tires put on, and I got the fenders and the tires mounted on. And as soon as I set it down, I realized something kind of funny and weird. It is dripping water from the axle, like a steady drip. I mean, look at this. That is pure water. Doing it on this side too a little bit. That is strange. It was leaking oil before. Someone had put automatic transmission fluid in this transmission, so apparently it was too thin for the axle seal and it was dripping out. But now that's just plain old water. I used this transmission actually in a tractor, drove it around for a little bit, And it was quiet, really good, so I'm not sure why it's dripping water out of it. These tires, even though they look the same, they're not. This tire, you can see right there, it says Sears on it. Okay, so that's an original Sears tire. Then you look at this one, and it says Carlisle. And I thought that was kind of interesting because both rims were silver. And then the other interesting thing is if you look at this angle, they stick out really wide compared to what they should be, which is very weird since I'm thinking that they're off of a Sears, but maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So I'm going to probably get the clutch on, engine in, floorboards, and come back when I get some. So I got the dash, hood, grill, and engine installed. It was a little bit of a job to get that engine in because this frame has some two pieces of metal going across the middle right there, and they were exactly in the spot where I wanted to put the bolts. And it took 3 different times to get the engine mounted just right. I also got the battery tray installed, even though it's not going to have a battery tray or a battery. It's just there to hold the clutch. So the clutch is in there. It's not quite lined up right. I got to put a little spacer on that pulley just to get that a little bit better. This is, of course, a homemade hood. The ignition switch is right here. That's one of my next things to do is wire that up. Just drill a hole in this dash that I made a while back. Then put that in, and I need to drill a slot for a throttle cable. What I'm working on right now is the seat. So this is just a regular seat that you would get for something like this. And a while back I made these pieces of metal with a hole in each corner and then a hole in the middle. You stick a carriage bolt in there and you hammer the bolt in so it kind of smashes into the metal. Then on your seat you just hammer a gigantic dent in the middle of it. You line your metal up about where you want it. And of course I can't hold this with one hand. Then you put your self-tapping screws in through the 4 holes, and now you got yourself a seat plate. So I'm actually going to get this tractor finished up and come back once as it's all finished. Alright, so it's all finished up. All the decals are on, the hood is on, everything is painted. All the stuff is in the grill. So of course, since last time you saw it, the steering wheel is on. The steering wheel is slightly bent, but not extremely that bad. The steering wheel isn't perfect, so it's kind of whatever. Got a throttle mounted, so I just had to basically drill 2 holes in the dash and then use a saw and cut down the middle to make it fit. But this is just a new throttle cable and throttle lever designed for like a push mower. You can get that at your local hardware store. A hood that I made, as well as the dash, of course. The fenders actually came out pretty good. It's just that one hole that's in there kind of sucks, but it's kind of whatever. So yeah, Honda GX340 that has a 5-inch engine pulley on it, just because that happened to be what was on there. But yeah, that's about it. Key switch is of course on the dash. It has a spot for start, but this engine is an electric start, so it's just off and on. The hood doesn't have actual latches. It just kind of goes down, and when you kind of drop it over the dash, it just wedges on top of it, and it seems to work fine. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll get more stuff coming soon.